Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, here in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, FifthDimensionRadio.com. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
And it is 10 Cent Beer Night, the official sports show of FifthDimensionRadio.com. Thank you for tuning in today. We are filming here on Tuesday the 10th for Wednesday the 11th, so we're only going to be 24 hours behind of what some of the latest sports news is, but we have plenty to talk about because we have the World Baseball Classic going on. We have spring training games still going on. We have NFL offseason just went underway yesterday with the negotiation window open and all kinds of stuff happened. We'll get to that a little bit later. We have the NBA, but I do want to lead things off on the start of March Madness. Conference play is underway here. Of course, you know, me and Bob, especially if you're watching on the video, you can see that we're wearing Akron Zips gear. That is our team. That's the team that we buy tickets for. That's the team that we cheer for. And last week they went 2-0. And John Gross also broke the record for most wins at home at the Jar, James A. Rhodes Arena, and at 31 straight wins. So this is great for the team going into, and they beat up Northern Illinois, who there's a chance they may never play ever again. And I mean they slaughtered them. It set a team record for most threes in a game at 18.
They never play them again, meaning that they're leaving the Mid-American
Right.
Conference. I mean, I'm sure that the school's still going to play, but they're leaving the Mid-American Conference, and that's going to bring the conference back down to 12 teams instead of 13, because they have 13 right now since when UMass joined.
Yeah.
So maybe back 12. So even maybe we'll go back to being able to play each school twice, like you used to do.
Right, and that's a good point that Bob just made, because also what happened on last Friday night, Miami of Ohio had the perfect regular season after beating Ohio U in overtime in Athens, and they are 31-0, and I'm going to tell you, they would have been 30-1, I think, if they would have played Akron one more time at the Jar. I don't think they would have beat it, because they beat Akron at Miami
By 3 points.
Yeah, by 3 points there. I did watch. I don't know if you watched the game, Bob. Miami versus Ohio.
No, I didn't watch. I watched the end of it, and then it went in overtime.
Right.
I turned in about 2 minutes left in the regulation.
Right. I had it on after the Zips game, went home, just chilled out, and I put it on because I was like, well, doing nothing else, so I might as well play.
I think I texted you right when the game was over.
Right.
Yeah. Because.
Right, but I watched it, and I'll tell you, Ohio played very, very well. Miami has not won in Athens since 2011.
Yeah,
so they broke almost a 13, no, it's more than that, a 15-year streak there Athens had on them. So,
but I just wonder if Miami's that good. They have had 6 overtime games this year, which they won them all.
Right.
They have played 6 games they won by 3 or less points, you know, and of course the teams Akron's blowing out.
Right.
I think if they meet again, I think this could be. ESPN did report that with the 31 wins that Miami had, even if they lose a conference championship, the odds are they're going to be in the NCAA tournament. So there's possibility Akron, if they can win this MAC, we could have 2 teams first time since 1990.
Right. I thought it was 95 actually.
No, it was 19. Oh, no, excuse me, 99. It was 99. 99. I'm sorry, 99.
There you go. And that was Ball State and Akron, if I'm correct. Was that last time there? I did see some bracketology predictions, and the mid-major official Facebook page was going nuts, in a good way. Like, they were excited because they were saying, Miami's not the only powerhouse in the MAC, and they had a picture of John Gross up there, and they said Akron could be the team that takes them out, and if so, there needs to be 2 teams coming from the MAC in the big tournament, and the mid-major said, yes, let's have 2 MAC teams this year. That sounds good.
I mean, Akron leads every category almost. They lead offense, they lead defense. Miami's like 3rd, 4th in offense. for the Mid-American Conference games. So.
I think to answer your speculation, Bob, you were talking about are they that good? Watching them, because I haven't watched a ton of.
They
their
play
games.
they know how to win.
Right.
I mean,
they're clutch. Is what it is.
Yeah, they get. Of course, like I said, against Kent State. Kent State tied them when they went into overtime. Then they went on the 18-1 run.
Right.
To beat Kent State, but
18-1. Wow, that's one free throw.
yeah,
that's it.
Kent made 1 3-point in the 5-minute half quarter.
There you have it. So this weekend is the MAC tournament in Cleveland, Ohio at almost said the Gun. I can't believe it.
I still call it the Gun.
Rocket Arena,
I still call it the Q.
where the Cleveland Cavaliers play there, and that's the place that's hosted the MAC tournament for a long. I can't even remember. I remember LeBron was a rookie when they were first host. I don't know if it was first hosted, but when they were hosting it, so they've been doing
the Mid-American Conference offices are in Cleveland.
right. Right. So this is the third time in the past 6 years there will not be a Michigan team in the tournament. It's the top 8 of the MAC, and so I did look that up because Bob, you're saying I don't know when that's last happened. It's actually the third time past 6 years, and now that I'm looking back, I'm going, oh my gosh, they're right. I didn't even notice that the other times it happened. So no Central, Eastern, or Western Michigan in this tournament. So here's the break for Thursday's games. We'll start with this is wrong. This is at 11 a.m. I don't think that's too early.
It's 11 a.m.
Yeah, 11 a.m.
There's 4 games that day.
Yeah. Which I get, but
I think like 11-2.
Right. Well, the first one you have Miami, Ohio versus UMass, and this is.
I'm gonna tell you what, UMass could give them a game.
I'm going with predictions here. I'm going with Miami, Ohio winning that game, but I think it's going to be tough. UMass has an underrated program. This is the first time they've been in the MAC tournament since they joined the MAC too. I've seen them against Akron. They're scrappy. They gave Akron fits. Like Akron pulled away and won the game, but
I know they played. I think they played Miami in overtime. Their game.
They made because it was the game. Western Michigan was the game-winning shot, but yeah, UMass did it. Beat them. Forced overtime.
Forced overtime, yeah.
Yeah, and
at Miami.
Right. Right. So these two will go ahead. So I got Miami win this one, but I think it's going to be close, and it might scare some fans there. Game 2 is 5th seed Bowling Green versus 4th seed Toledo there.
These are all Thursday games.
Right. I got Toledo winning by an edge here, but I can see Bowling Green winning this one. But Toledo tends to win the first round game in the MAC tournament there. What do you think about that one? That matchup there?
I think Bowling Green will beat them.
You got Bowling Green beating Toledo there? Okay, so we have differences there, so we'll fight out there. Akron, number 2 versus number 7 Buffalo. This Buffalo team's not what they used to be. Akron pretty much beat up Buffalo this season, so I'm going to go with Akron's going to run away with this one. And do you feel the same way there? Yes. They're going to win that one over. And then the last game, 6th seed Ohio versus 3 Kent State.
This could be a good game. That could be the best game of the 4.
I'm actually going to go with Ohio on this one because I've watched both these teams. I saw Kent in action twice with you in Akron and in Kent. And I watched Ohio a couple times on TV. Ohio I think they're the better team. Ohio almost came away with the win against Miami for a reason. And it was not just defending their house. But I think my thing with Kent this year is I get it. They are the 3rd seed. So they were up there in the top 3 in the MAC, which has been the case for a while.
For years.
Right.
It's usually between them and Akron.
Right. The difference between Kent this year than Kent in other years is they always had 1 or 2 players that would take over and lead the pack, especially in scoring. They have one guy that leads the whole NCAA in double-doubles.
Gillespie.
Yeah.
Gillespie.
And he does well, but he's also not one of their more he scores, but he's not one of their more proficient scorers. They don't look to him in times of need all the time. And on top of that, against Akron, he did not do very well both games. And I just don't think. I think for the first time in a while, they don't have that one player that can lead the pack. And Ohio's got a couple guys they can turn to. I think Ohio beats Kent in the first for the upset.
I'd say I think it's going to be the best game of the four.
I think so too.
I really do.
I really, and I think second would be UMass and
Miami.
Miami. But I'm gonna go.
I think the other two. Akron's going to probably blow out Buffalo.
Right. I think so too.
But then again,
so if we move forward here, if my predictions are right, Miami, Ohio would play Toledo, and at that time I'd take Miami on that one. Toledo they're that kind of team. Again, they'll win that first game. That second game, all of a sudden, they're a different team, and and especially Toledo's been the first seed before, in the past 10 years a couple times, and they flopped in like the second round before, like most of the time. So I would have them there. I would have Akron beat whoever wins between Ohio and Kent State there. It will be it'll be close. These are their top two rivals right here. It's Kent and Ohio.
I said, when it comes to the Mid-American Conference Tournament, it's a whole new season.
It is.
And these teams all want to get to the dance.
Right.
And they're going to play 100%. They're going to be out there busting their ass to get there.
Right. They definitely will there. So if it is truly Miami versus Akron in the final, it's going to be a heat one. Remember last year Akron came back and beat Miami in the final minutes.
In the final minutes.
Yeah. And Miami's going to want to stay perfect there. So I'll predict it. I am a little biased because I've watched this team and what people are saying about Akron. I would like to see Akron.
I'm going to tell you what, Akron's getting more publicity on the major networks like ESPN,
right,
and even ABC the other night. During the college game, they were talking about the Mid-American Conference in Akron and Miami.
Right.
So we're finally getting a little bit of respect now.
Right. I think we're getting some cheer because I think people are tired to talk about the perfect seed, and that's not a knock on Miami. This is good for the MAC. Getting that attention really is. So it's as much as we don't.
But power schedule, Akron had a better power schedule per se. They played bigger teams.
Miami didn't play anybody except for their Ivy League, and they played the worst. Remember,
the Sun Belt Conference.
The Sun Belt, and I don't know if they played Ivy. We did.
Well, we played because we played Yale, and Yale beat us 105 to 100.
We beat a team too in the Ivy League.
No, I don't think. I think Yale was the only one in the Ivy League that we lost. We lost 105 to 100. You score 100 points and lose.
They beat Princeton.
Oh, that's right.
We beat Princeton.
Right. You're right.
But see, they beat Princeton.
We were there. I don't know why I think because they played at Akron.
All right, you were there. I wasn't.
Yeah, they were at Akron.
They beat James Madison, which is a decent program.
That's the Sun Belt Conference.
They did lose to Purdue, who was number 2 at the country at the time. They lost by 18 which is not terrible.
But they were down by 2 at halftime.
Right.
So.
Right, and then like I said, they lost to Yale by 3 points there. They beat Tulane, decent. But they lost to Murray State by 50. Murray State's a good basketball school.
What was that? What was that score? It was 100
to 115.
Yeah.
They lost by 15 there. But they scored 100 on Murray State.
Well,
I mean, and that's where Miami, Ohio. I'll pull up there. They did not play anybody in the beginning. Like,
I think
they played Old Dominion, but I mean that's what they played Air Force, but they played Arkansas Pine Bluff, they played Indiana East, they played Maine, Eastern Kentucky, Wright State, Milligan. Yeah, I mean
they haven't played the teams that Akron played. Akron, like I said, the power schedule, they had a better power schedule than Miami. But hey, what are you gonna do? It's all going to boil down to one game, and it's going to come. I look for both those schools to be in the championship game. But like I said, ESPN talked about the other night that they feel that Miami already punched their ticket, being undefeated 31-0, even if they would lose in the MAC championship game. But Akron has to win to get in.
Right.
And so that ain't right with the power schedule, the way it's set up and stuff like that. So what do I know? Well, I like to see Akron win, and both schools go to the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. Now switching gears to Ohio State in the Big Ten. They went 2-0 last week, beating Penn State. Crushed Penn State 94-62. So it's basically like a football game. Ohio State crushes Penn State. It's just something they do. And then they beat Indiana 91-78, and that got them to be 8th in the Big Ten, which means they got 2-round byes. They're not going to be playing till the 3rd round because
being 8th.
Right.
Or the Big Ten, everybody makes it.
Everybody makes it.
Everybody makes. That's right.
So they got two byes there. So tonight's games, again, you'll know the result by the time you hear this, but it's the things will kick off between Maryland and Oregon. And yet, believe it or not, this is one of the worst seasons for Maryland in a while.
They haven't had a great year.
No. At home they were for a minute there because they were up there with Akron and Duke for longest home streak, and then kind of just went away after that. But Maryland will take on Oregon there, and I think Oregon's going to win that one. You have Penn State against Northwestern, and Northwestern could win that game. I know that they're not one of the hottest Big Ten teams, but I mean with the way Penn State's playing, you never know. So I would not rule out Northwestern winning that game there. But winner of Maryland Oregon will play Iowa, and USC and Washington will already play each other in round 2. Winner of Penn State and Northwestern will play Indiana. Indiana will probably win that one. And then Rutgers and Minnesota will play. And so the winner of Iowa versus whoever they're going to play between Maryland and Oregon is going to then play Ohio State on Thursday. And then winner of USC and Washington is going to play Wisconsin. The winner of the Indiana game is going to play Purdue. And the winner of the Rutgers-Minnesota game is going to play UCLA.
When all these schools playing, when's their tournament start?
Tonight, Tuesday.
I was going to say...
You're listening on Wednesday, but we're filming on Tuesday, so their tournament starts there. The semifinal round... No, I should say quarterfinal round. The winner of whoever plays Ohio State will then play Michigan. So it could Ohio State's playing well enough they could go advance and play Michigan, and that would be
Michigan ranked now 1, 2. They were up there for a while.
They're ranked 1 in the MAC.
In the MAC, you mean?
In the Big Ten, excuse me, 1 in the Big Ten. The winner of the Wisconsin game will go on and play Illinois, who was 4th in the Big Ten. The winner of the Purdue game, Purdue slid a little bit here in the Big Ten, but they'll go play Nebraska, who is number 2 in the Big Ten, and the winner of the UCLA game will play number 3 Michigan State.
Yeah, I heard Nebraska's having a good year.
Yeah. Then Saturday will be the semifinals, and Sunday will be your championship, 2:30 p.m. on CBS.
Yeah, because it's got to be over by 6 because the NCAA draw is 6 o'clock.
Right. So we'll see what happens there. I have Ohio State. They'll win their first game. I think I hate to say this. I think they could lose to Michigan. They've kept them. Both games were close for a bit. Michigan pulled away. I think they're just a better team right now. I know people don't.
Where's that? Probably in Michigan.
No, it's
proceeding wise. No, I know they go to.
It's in Chicago.
Chicago.
It's in Chicago there. So a lot of Illinois.
But the first round games are at homes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's at Chicago there. So keep an eye on that. We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Cavaliers. Kind of a roller coaster ride this past week there. And then we'll talk some World Baseball Classic. Some good stuff's going on there. So that and more. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to 10 Cent Beer Night here on FifthDimensionRadio.com. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
And this past weekend, Columbus Crew and Chicago Fire had a no-score game. They tied it at 0. It's the soccer term there. And then this coming Saturday, they will play Nashville SC in Columbus, 6:15 p.m.
Is it still called the Nashville Sound? The soccer team used to be called the Sound.
I think it's just Nashville SC now. They kind of just... That's just something they do now in soccer, where if they don't have a team name, they go by
the football club,
SC, or soccer club in this case, because it's an American team. So because you have Atlanta United Football Club and you have Orlando City SC. So yeah, this is Nashville SC. ATV and Fox Sports 1 will carry at 6:15 p.m. and that will be live in Columbus. And Crew recently had a Cleveland Guardians moment. MLS has banned for life 2 former Crew players who played in 24 and 25 for gambling on their performances. They were even taking gambles on if they would get a yellow card or not.
Well,
and so
I've told you before, when we legalize gambling, you bet online, you bet this was going to happen.
right, Derek Jones
and it's happening.
Derek Jones and Yeboah are both suspended for life, and they were free agents. They're not with the Crew right now, but they were the past couple of years. They won the championship with them.
Wasn't
too.
an old Akron guy, was it?
No, I looked. Both players were from overseas.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So, Crew still looking for their first win under their new coach there. And so this is the first kind of drama. They're Jimmy Haslam owned team, and this is the first time they've gotten in any kind of trouble like that. So, kind of funny how it works. It's funny too, Bob, and you'll hear me say this all the time. Haslam has his people down there in Columbus. He lets them go. He lets them do whatever they need to do. They've won 1 championship, and they've gone to the playoffs every year under Haslam. I wish he would do that for his football team.
Yeah, probably don't know much about soccer.
Well, he doesn't know much about football either, apparently,
Well,
as we have found out. But
he owns a team. He can do what he wants.
there you go. Last week, the Cavs went 1-1. They are 2-1 since our last 10-cent beer night. They have won 40 games officially, so that's good. They're 40-25, fourth in the Eastern Conference. Last Tuesday, not today, but the previous one, I was at the game. They beat the Pistons 113-109 without Donovan Mitchell. Great game. They all look good. Jared Allen unfortunately got banged up. He banged knees with a player, and he got a tendonitis in his knee there. Which brings us to Sunday against the Celtics. They lost 98-109. It was worse than the score gets. Okay, so the second quarter, they couldn't hit a shot to save their life. They scored 10 total points in the second quarter. And that's what really cost them that game. It was the third quarter was okay.
Well, it just seemed like this season there's always that one quarter.
Right.
That one that does them in.
Right. And what it was is, Bob, you've heard me preach about taking good shots and passing on bad ones. That's what was happening here. Is Boston was hitting everything, but they were shooting when they were wide open. You know what I mean? So they didn't have a guy in their face.
No defending.
Right. And what upset me was the first quarter was solid. They didn't have the lead. They were down by like 4 or something after the first, but they played well. Evan Mobley was on a tear. He hit 1 3-pointer, and he was dealing it inside. And the thing that irritates me about this Cavs team is there's a rule in basketball. Bob, you know it. We've seen Akron do it. We've seen other teams of ours do it. If somebody's red hot, you keep feeding them the ball because it's a rhythm thing. So you just keep feeding them and yeah, you don't want to be selfish, but if somebody's red hot putting points on the board, that's the ideology here is you just keep giving them the ball. And they quit giving Mobley the ball when they needed points. And I was going like, what are you doing? You're chucking up these bad threes and like guys covered all over them. And I'm like, you're taking these bad shots, you got to move it inside. And you have a guy, because Boston's not great inside. They got Tatum back, which was a big deal. And he's solid, but at the same time, he's not 7 feet tall like Mobley is. And Mobley was bullying them inside. I said, why aren't you getting it inside? It was irritating me.
Mobley 7 foot?
Yeah, he's 7 foot.
I didn't think it was that tall. I thought he was like 6'9", 6'10".
No, he's taller than Allen, yeah. And Allen did not play that game. But I was just like, what are you doing? And it costed them the game at the end of the day. Like, third quarter was the first half of the third quarter was bad. Second half, they started getting it together. And then the fourth quarter, they overall played well. But it was mistake after, like, they were down by 4 at a time in the fourth. and then they would make a stupid defensive lapse and give up 5 more points. You know what I mean? Like they would give up the wide open three, or they would have a bad foul, and it would be a legit foul. It wasn't the ref making a bad call. And it's just like, look, this is a team you have to show people you have to beat. And I remember at the end of that game, Shaq, who loves Donovan Mitchell, is sold on the Cavs, was saying they're just not ready yet right now, and as far as taking over the East. They're just not there. And I hate hearing that. I mean, they do match up well against Detroit. They're not afraid of them. But Boston's the one I'm more scared over New York, just because
Boston's playing well.
Right. They're playing well. And the thing is, the Cavs do have the pieces to beat them. Now, okay, they got Dean Wade back. They got Donovan Mitchell back. Strus is almost back. So if we can get Strus and Al back, get the team all together healthy, they'll show more promise. But I was really upset on Sunday's game. I just really I expected better. Last night's game, they did play the 76ers. They beat them 115-101. They played very, very well. I had no complaints against that. The only thing is Sixers did not have Paul George or Joel Embiid. Or I don't think they even had Maxey. So that their top 3 players were not playing. So in the playoffs, which Sixers will make the playoffs, it'll be a whole different situation. So the rest of the week, all right? Wednesday, they're at Orlando to play the Magic. It's on ESPN, 7:30. So while you're listening to this, they're playing. So that's a team they'll match well. Magic are playing better, but Cavs got to win. Cavs got to show them like this isn't a couple years ago. We can take you out. Friday and Sunday they should win. Friday they're at Dallas, 7:30 p.m. on Amazon Network. Sunday they're in Cleveland against Dallas, 3:30 p.m. on NBA TV and FanDuel. Dallas is beat up. They have the first overall pick, Cooper Flag, but they've traded Anthony Davis. They traded other pieces. Kyrie Irving has been shut down for the rest of the season. This team just not playing well. They're going to be a lottery team again. They should sweep. If they can go 3-1, assuming that if they lose when it beat Orlando this week, that's great. They could go 4-0. I think they should go 4-0, but if they go at just 3-1, I'll take it. Anything less than 3-1 is a disappointment on the schedule this week. But I will give Orlando the benefit of the doubt with them being in Orlando and how well Orlando's playing. There is a chance they could lose that game, but they've done well against. I think they've played. Let's see. I don't think they've played the Magic yet this year. So they're 2-0 versus the Magic. So they should be able to win this. That'd be good. I mean, they have the second easiest schedule the rest of the way. So we'll see what happens there. So just got to get Jared Allen back. We'll see about Strus has played 90% of the recent practices. So that's just to give you a taste of how close he is. But good game, especially from Keon Ellis last night. Finally was throwing up some shots and make it, because he's a great 3-point shooter when he takes it up from long range. He usually can nail it. But he's been kind of hesitant since joining the Cavs. It's like, no, man, if there's anybody if I were to give the top 5 players to throw it up from 3, he would be on that on the Cavs right now. With Harden and Mitchell and even Mobley, I would put him in the top 5 there as far as 3-point shooters on the team. So they just, and Merrill, I would put that would probably be your top 5 right there. Even over, because Strus is kind of rusty. That's who I would rely on 3 on this Cavs team right now. But there you go. They are right now, like I said, they're 4th in the conference there. They're 6 games behind the Pistons, which is not terrible. They're a game and a half behind the Knicks, and they're 3.5, behind the Celtics. So, I mean, this is wide open right now. And if it were to end today, they would be home field advantage versus the Raptors, and they have not done well against Toronto this year. So, you got Pistons, Celtics, Knicks, Cavs, Raptors, and Magic are your top 6. Heat, 76ers, Hawks, and Hornets are your play-in as of now. And 4 games behind the Hornets is the Bucks. I don't think the Bucks are doing anything this year. So, the East is almost set. It's just the order of which everybody's going to be at. And, we definitely don't want to be in the play-in. We're better than that. So, but they're at 40 wins. So that's a good spot to be in at this point. For the Western Conference there, you have the Thunder at 51-15 at first. Then you have in order Spurs, Timberwolves, Rockets, Lakers, and Nuggets. For the play-in, Suns, Clippers, Warriors, Trailblazers. While we're on the topic Clippers, Darius Garland has played now 3 or 4 games for the Clippers, and he's overall looked pretty well. Like 20-some points, 6 assists.
You mean the NBA season is like 16 games left in it?
A little more than that, because we go to mid-April.
Well, what's the Cavs record?
They're 40-25, so they've played 65.
5 games, have an 82 game schedule. That's
Yeah.
17 games.
Yeah, it still stretches out to mid-8. So yeah, you were right for the most part.
It just seemed like it just started.
Right. Suns are, Grizzlies are, I'm trying to do the math here, 7 games behind the Trailblazers for the last play-in spot. So the West is almost pretty much figured out, again, aside from the final order of things. So we're getting a better perspective right now in the league of who's going to stay and who's going to go at this point there. Worst records for anybody interested, 15-50 are the Kings, 15-49 are the Pacers for the East there.
But I'll tell you what, that's surprising with the Pacers.
Right. CBS gave their first mock draft for the NBA recently. Cuyahoga Falls native Darren Peterson was the first overall pick to the Kings. He plays a shooting guard for Kansas Jayhawks right now.
He didn't go to Cuyahoga Falls High School, though.
He went to CVCA for a little bit.
Yeah, CVC, yes.
Yeah, but he grew up here.
Yeah.
Born in Canton, grew up in Cuyahoga Falls. But we've been talking about him for a while. He is predicted over Boozer for the first overall pick. And actually, a couple people think that Boozer's going to slide to 3rd or 4th. And Boozer's one of the better players in the league right now. Not Caden, the other one. It's on the tip of my tongue, but both Boozer twins are expected to be in the draft. We'll see how Duke does, especially in the big tournament and everything, because they're expected to be there. I mean, they're one of the top teams in the league. See, it must be nice to know, even if you get upset in your own conference tournament, you're still safe to go to the big tournament. Not the story for Akron in the MAC. Not even the story for Ohio. Ohio State's in a solid position, but it's not guaranteed unless I think they should.
I don't know.
If they win one conference game, they might be set. But, I mean, they've had a good year, too. I mean, I'll give Ohio State credit.
there's going to be at least 6 teams out of the Big Ten going to the big dance. There usually always is.
Usually 8, I would say, yeah. I mean,
I seen a thing the other day. It was six guaranteed, pretty much guaranteed, and like 3 on the bubble.
yeah. Congratulations to Bruce Thornton, and to the who became the all-time Buckeyes leading scorer in
Yeah, I did see that.
in program history, beating Dennis Hopson there. So. He's been there all 4 years at Ohio State, so that's a big deal.
Speaking of shout-outs, I'd like to congratulate the Talmadge High School wheelchair basketball team for winning their 3rd straight state title in basketball.
Awesome. No, that's great to hear. That really
the
is.
Talmadge High School, the 3rd straight title and 3rd straight undefeated season. So, congratulations to Talmadge Blue Devils wheelchair basketball. I just got a friend of mine, his son plays for them.
Excellent there. And then shout to Zips won a bunch of MAC titles recently in swimming, diving,
indoor track,
Indoor
track, both women and men indoor track.
Right.
So the wagon wheel will be coming back to us. Because you got to remember, they play for each sport plays for a wagon wheel.
Right.
Okay, but they give out the main wagon wheel at the end of the season by points by, like Akron's basketball, they swept. If the baseball team switch, they get points. All the sports are combined to get the main wagon wheel.
Right.
So, Akron's pretty much dominating the MAC, and Akron, the second year in a row, Akron all sports got the wagon wheel. So
Good.
they should get it. Baseball, and our baseball team's 8-8 now. So
They're playing better.
they're playing a lot better.
Are. Now Kent's very good at baseball, so that's gonna be a tough one to take away from them. But I like the improvement on this Akron baseball team, and I'd like to see the program build. Speaking of baseball, Bob, fantasy drafts have started for me. We're in spring training. This World Baseball Classic's been crazy. Yesterday,
I see the U.S. got beat yesterday by Mexico.
No, U.S. beat Mexico yesterday.
Beat Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I heard Mexico won 5-3 or something like that.
No, U.S. won 5-3 there.
I was misquoted.
There you go. Kyle Schwarber hit a game-winning home run the other day. It wasn't against Mexico. This was the other day there. First runs for Australia this year. Bazana of the Guardians hit a solo home run, and that was their first runs of the entire thing there. So yeah, U.S. schedule this week. They play Italy tonight. By the time you hear this, they've already played Italy. But for Wednesday, they don't play at all. And then Thursday, no games yet. And then Friday's to be decided, but Korea's already moved on there. Let me pull up your...
I know they're going to be playing Nicaragua.
Yeah. In the pool A...
Pool games.
Yeah. In the pool games, Pool A, Puerto Rico's already clinched their 3-0. Cuba's 2-1, so we'll see if they make it there. Pool B in Houston, USA's 3-0, so they're close. They're going to clinch soon. Italy's 2-0. Again, by the time you hear this will be a little bit mixed up. Mexico's only 2-1 there. Pool C, Tokyo, Japan is 4-0. No surprise there. Very good baseball country.
They take their baseball serious. Well, like we used to. We don't take baseball like it used to be.
Yeah. Korea, Australia, Chinese
Taipei,
are 2-2. Pool D in Miami, Venezuela, and Dominican Republic are both 3-0. Also good baseball countries right there. And they pretty much advanced. To the rest of Pool D will not be advancing there. So it's been. And let me tell you, because we got to take a break here, but all these highlights and everything is getting me pumped for baseball again. These home run robberies.
It's coming.
Yeah, these
end of this month.
I know. 2 weeks from, by the time they hear this today, Bob, we will have opening day.
Well,
I mean, it's basically here. We got to take a break. When we come back, the Browns have made some moves. There was also big moves across the NFL. We'll talk about that and more as free agency has just tipped off in the National Football League. Welcome back to 10 Cent Beer Night here on FifthDimensionRadio.com. I'm Seth with Bob here.
But yeah, I'm Bob. I'm Bob.
There he is.
You didn't let me announce myself, man.
No, I didn't this time.
Yeah.
There you go. And I zoned out here for a sec, but free agency negotiation window has opened in the NFL. So they can agree to terms, but they can't officially sign until next week when the league opens up. But this is the legal tampering, and moves have been made across the board. I'm going to read you. I mean, there's been a bunch. So I'm just going to read you kind of like the bigger. I'm not going to read everybody, but yesterday started off with the big news that Dolphins released quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. Okay.
Well, I think the Browns get him.
Oh no, he's already signed.
I think the Browns. We need another quarterback.
They owed him $99 million. So what he ends up doing, and you brought up Browns, but you came close, Bob. He did sign later. The Atlanta Falcons went hard at him. They signed. It was a 1-year deal. It was a league minimum because he's still getting that Dolphins money. So it was just easier for Atlanta to take on a cheap, affordable contract, bring him in, and he's still making his big money.
So he's with I would say he's with an old Brown.
Yeah, he's with Kevin Stefanski there, and that did surprise me because I thought, we knew they were moving on from Kirk Cousins. We knew Michael Penix was still in the mix for there in Atlanta, but I just didn't. I thought he was going to Minnesota. I thought with the weapons there and Minnesota interested in bringing in another quarterback, I thought he made more sense there. But he's going to Atlanta. It is a one-year deal, so if it doesn't work out, it's whatever after this year. But Tua is now with the Atlanta Falcons, so that first-round pick and that contract did not work out. And they're saying that's one of the worst contracts up there with Deshaun Watson now.
What do you mean? It ain't even close to Deshaun Watson's.
I agree with you, but because Tua still played well last year, but it was the injuries, some of the inconsistencies, and he also had locker room problems too as well. Jets did trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick too yesterday and signed him to an extension, so that did happen. So he moves on from Miami. Did make some moves to clear off some cap space there. Falcons also added wide receiver Olmade Zaccheaus, who played for the Bears last year. Eric Stokes, former Georgia kid, will be going back to the Raiders there. He was a first-round pick in 2021, and he's going to stay. He was with Green Bay, but he's going to stay with the Raiders there. Draymond Jones from the Ravens is going to the Patriots. You have Cole Holcomb, who's going to stay with the Steelers there. Cade Otton, a good target for Baker Mayfield, will stay with the Buccaneers there. Rams also add former Chief Jalen Watson, and this is coming after they trade for McDuffie and sign McDuffie to the biggest contract in cornerback NFL for cornerbacks. So Rams also add another former Chief cornerback to their arsenal. Left tackle Laramie Tunsil gets a record-setting extension with the Commanders, so he's going to stay out there. Panthers signed Eagles linebacker Jalen Phillips to a monster deal, so that was a good deal. Eagles lost a lot of guys the past 24 hours. Ravens also signed John Simpson, who was an offensive guard for the Ravens, so he's gone there. Former Raven Isaiah Likely, tight end. He was rumored maybe had interest with the Browns because the Browns were looking for another tight end with Njoku potentially leaving. He's going to the Giants to join John Harbaugh. So, he had him in Baltimore when he was with the Ravens, and now he's going to Harbaugh's new team there. Jets are going to bring back Demario Davis, who was also a former Cleveland Brown there. He had been with the Saints for a while there. I'm going to pull that up right here. He was drafted by the Jets first 4 years, spent 1 year with Cleveland. Cleveland traded him back to the Jets in 2017. Then he was with New Orleans from 18 to 25, went to 2 Pro Bowls, and now he's back with the Jets there. Buccaneers signed former Lions linebacker Alex Anzalone. He took a pay cut. He was offered more money from other teams, but he really wanted to go to Tampa Bay. Mentor Ohio kid Mitch Trubisky is going to the Titans to be Cam Robinson's new backup there. Austin Hooper has a double reunion here. He's going back to the Falcons, who originally had and drafted him, and he's also going back to Kevin Stefanski, who had him with the Browns in 20 and 21. Buccaneers also signed Kenneth Gainwell, running back, who was with the Steelers last year. He was a fantasy beast. He had a lot of good games, and now he's going to Tampa Bay. Chicago Bears signed former Seahawks safety Kobe Bryant, who was also part of that Cincinnati Bearcats team. Some former Bearcats made some history yesterday. There was 4 big signings from that class there, from the old what's his name, Luke Fickell, Cincinnati team, not Chicago. So this part here was funny. Okay. Let's see. Giants signed Jordan Stout, the punter, to a contract. Okay, he was the language.
Producer Bob, you didn't catch that, did you?
Giants signed Jordan Stout to what was the biggest punter contract in history. It lasted 2 minutes, and then another, It wasn't Jake Bailey who went to the Falcons. It was Saints signed a punter. It's not listed here. Saints then signed a punter to the biggest punter contract in history. It literally so Jordan Stout was again for 2 minutes the top signed punter in NFL history, and then 2 minutes later somebody else got that contract there. So Lions did sign center Cade Mays to a deal. He was with the Panthers.
The punters are making good money now.
Yeah.
Used to be they was one of the lowest paid on the team.
Right. And that's big because the Browns needing so much interior offensive linemen. That was a potential target there. Saints signed Travis Etienne, running back there, to a good 4-year deal. And rumor has it Alvin Kamara is on the trade block after that signing. Titans signed wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson, who was with the Giants, to a deal. And this was because Brian Dable, who was the coach for the Giants, is now the offensive coordinator for the Titans, and a lot of his players do want to reunite with him there. So, Falcons did sign kicker Nick Folk, who was with the Jets for years. Cardinals signed Tyler Algier, who was with running back, was with the Falcons for a while there. Jalen Naylor, who was the third wide receiver for the Vikings, he's going to the Raiders to have a bigger part there. Falcons signed wide receiver Jayon Dotson, who was with the Eagles last year, former first-round pick out of Penn State. And he was with the Commanders. It had just not picked. He may have been a second-round pick, but he was a high pick there. I'll pull that up right now. Give you.
Don't anybody stay with the same team?
Oh, he was first-round pick 20. Well, he was not working out at all, and they gave up on him. And I mean, he didn't do much with Philly, so Falcons are hoping to
it just seems
revive his career there.
You know, years ago, maybe one or two guys left the team, but man, every year, more and more guys. No loyalty anymore to any team.
It's kind of hard to be loyal in some of these situations, and that includes the Browns there. Saints signed.
Well, look, Joe Thomas. How loyal can you be?
I know. But
Bartonio or whatever his name is. How loyal can you be? These guys were loyal.
Right.
They played.
But neither was Alex Mack, and he got to see a Super Bowl from it. Not win it, but see one. Saints signed guard David Edwards, one of the top guards in free agency. He was with the Bills last year, and he got a big deal. Bears signed and Browns lost linebacker Devin Bush to a 3-year deal. I was really hoping he would come back. Devin Bush was one of, you were talking about guys that won't stay on team. This guy got cut, but we were just talking about the Dotson, that maybe a first-round pick that can turn it around. Devin Bush was a first-round pick out of Michigan to the Steelers. They traded up to get him. They gave up on him. Browns turned him into the first-round pick everybody thought he was. And that was because you never hear that story anymore of the Browns turning a player around from the Steelers. It's usually the other way around if it does happen. But that's what happened there. But he's going to go to the Bears. We wish him the best of luck there.
Oh, wow.
Steelers signed cornerback Jamel Dean, who was from the Buccaneers. And they need some help back there. Browns did sign Zion Johnson, former first-round pick guard, for the Chargers there. He is a left guard, and this is a speculation that Bitonio is going to retire because they brought him in. But the difference between the similarities between the two offensive linemen the Browns brought in the offseason so far from the trade in Houston, now Johnson, healthy guys.
Well, Bitonio, if they would want to keep him, can't this guy go from left guard to right guard?
Yeah. But he was mainly left guard in Los Angeles.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just going from one side of the line to the other.
That's still an
we don't want
adjustment.
If Bitonio wants to stay around, let's keep him for another year.
Titans signed John Franklin Myers, defensive lineman for the Broncos. They got him in a big deal there. Giants signed All-Pro linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, who was cut by the Bears for cap reasons, so he's going to then go to the Giants there. Ryan Wright was the punter's name for the Saints, signed to the biggest deal. So there you go. Former Ohio State running back J.K. Dobbins is staying in Denver. They re-signed him there. Bengals sign former Saints safety Brian Cook, so that's going to help them out in the backfield there. Commanders re-signed quarterback Marcus Mariota as their backup. Bengals also signed Seahawks defensive end Boye Mafe. So Bengals, who had a terrible defense last year, are adding some serious defensive talent there. Cowboys signed former Cardinals safety Jalen Thompson there. Bears re-signed backup quarterback Case Keenum. Keenum's made a ton of money just being a backup quarterback in his career there. Commanders signed Odafe Owe, former defensive end of the Ravens, and he was one of their better ones. But Ravens last Friday during the Miami Ohio U game traded for Max Crosby, so that's probably why they didn't bring Owe back. But Owe's got a $100 million contract from the Commanders there. Jaguars listening to offers for Brian Thomas Jr. They have engaged in serious talks with the Browns. That's what one report was stating. So you might see a change up here. Raiders do sign former Colt defensive Kwity Paye. Cardinals to sign quarterback Gardner Minshew, who was with the Chiefs last year. He will be the backup. They already said Jacoby Brissett is going to be their starter going into next year there. Chiefs re-signed Travis Kelce to a 1-year, $15 million.
I bet Taylor's happy.
Let me see. We just got breaking news. The Browns just signed another linebacker. We didn't even get to the one that they... Kelce it's just a 1-year deal. They brought Eric Bieniemy back, and he was interested there. Who did the Browns sign? Oh, we already knew that. That wasn't even that, so it just became official. So, all right, I'll go back about that in a sec here. Saints signed tight end Noah Fant, who was with the Bengals last year. That could be a good one, a good fit for both sides there. Raiders signed a former Packers linebacker Quay Walker, who Pro Bowl talent right there. Good pickup for Vegas. Panthers signed quarterback Kenny Pickett to be their new backup there.
Good pickup for Vegas.
Yeah, Raiders. Quay Walker.
For Vegas? Oh,
Raiders are in Vegas.
I'm thinking the casino. Sorry.
Seahawks re-signed Rashid Shaheed, who they got in trade deadline, helped them win the Super Bowl.
Where my
so
mind's
that
at.
I like that one right there. Here's I'll mention this one first. Texans signed safety Reed Blankenship, who was with the Eagles, a big time player for them when he played very well, I should say, in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, the one they won. Browns signed Quincy Williams, who was linebacker for the Jets. Very good. I'm very happy about this addition. Very fast guy, very strong. He's going to replace Bush on the team. But Malachi Corley, Browns wide receiver, played for the Jets, said that Williams is the definition of what a Cleveland Browns player is. So he's excited about bringing him in there. Cardinals signed wide receiver Kendrick Bourne, so that should help with the receiving there. Steelers signed running back Rico Dowdle, who is now going to replace Gainwell there. And I don't like that. Dowdle played very well last year. So Steelers also traded and extended Michael Pittman, junior wide receiver, who was with the Colts. So Steelers having a good offseason so far, and I don't like saying that. Chargers get guard Cole Strange out free agency. I'm a fan of him. I wanted the Browns to draft him when he was a draft prospect there. Colts did sign Alec Pierce to a $114 million deal, extending him there. Chiefs signed Kenneth Walker, who was Super Bowl MVP for the Seahawks, so they got a new running back there. Packers traded defensive end Rashawn Gary to the Cowboys, so Cowboys had some good defensive depth there. 49ers signed Mike Evans to a 3-year deal. That surprised me. Not only did he leave Tampa Bay, he's getting near the end of his career, and he signed a 3-year deal. I thought he'd only signed a 1-year deal. Browns were in the talks with center Tyler Linderbaum, and he signed a record-setting deal with the Raiders. He was center. He was my second on my wish list for free agency there. Dolphins did sign a quarterback Malik Willis, who is backup for Jordan Love in Green Bay, and he's expected to be a starter. Giants signed former Cleveland Brown Greg Newsome. Newsome was traded at trade deadline for Titus Campbell, and now he's going to the Giants on a 1-year deal there. And Bears signed Khalif Raymond there. Let me see. Lions to sign running back Isaiah Pacheco, so he's gone now. So that will be interesting, and that's probably what that update. Yeah, I got an update of a running back that was a 2-time champion signed in the NFC North, and that's what it was. Isaac Pacheco to the Lions there. So that's all the big deals there. As far as the Browns go, they weren't. There was a right guard. They did try to get, and it didn't work out. He went to the Patriots. He was from the Jets. Alex, I don't have his name in front of me there. But so they are looking for another guard. So that is telling me Bitonio is probably done. I know we were waiting for an announcement, but I think he's going to hang it up there. The Brian Thomas thing, I'm curious to see what they will offer and trade for if they do get him. I know they're talking to him. They're talking to the Saints about Chris Olave and the Cardinals about Marvin Harrison Jr. I would take any of those three, but I'm shocked Brian Thomas is already getting dumped right now for the Jaguars. I mean, he's only 2 years in, and he's played very well. So I find it interesting is what it is. So we'll see what they do here. But Browns they're making some moves. The majority of their teams should be made through the draft, though. So anybody thinking, like, are they doing anything? Look, they're doing enough. They got to build more on the draft. And they got some picks there. They didn't get any compensation picks the NFL gives out, so that didn't happen there. But you're caught up now on the first 24 hours of NFL free agency window open, and we'll just go from there. So we have to wrap it up today. Well, we won't go from there. Excuse me. We'll go from there next week, I should say. We have to wrap it up today, but next week we'll talk about the Cavs. We'll talk about how the Big Ten and MAC tournaments played out. Hopefully, Bob, we'll be
talking about the big dance.
For Akron, yeah.
Yep.
Ohio State will be up in the air, but there's always a chance for them in their situation right now. I think if they win at least one game in the Big Ten tournament, it's going to help make their case. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about baseball coming up. We're almost to our baseball preview, Bob. It's coming up very close there.
That's coming up. Coming up, a couple weeks.
We'll talk about it. So a lot going on in March. The madness has already started, and we're looking forward to talking about it. So we'll see you guys next week, next Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. here on FifthDimensionRadio.com. And all that being said, go Zips and Buckeyes. Go get them in their tournaments. And we'll see you guys next week.